Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations on a big new comic book day. Well, that's kind of a misnomer because a lot of the releases are reprints this week and facsimiles. Like it's probably the biggest not new comic book day we've had in forever.
I mean, I'd say even without like those, like there's still a bunch of new stuff.
It is absolutely a bigger week than it had been for the past 3 weeks, probably. But there are a lot of issues for you to be able to get caught up on if that is your intent. However, that's not what we picked. We didn't pick a single reprint up here or facsimile.
Or just book that we've picked before. Well, no, I have picked this before.
Yeah, but it has been a long time. So let's jump right in.
Yeah. So my pick this week is Feral issue 10. It's been a while, so just to get you caught, basically like think zombie apocalypse, like think specifically like kind of like the 28 days later where it's not so much zombies, but like people just going like absolutely insane and just murdering each other.
Right.
But with cats.
Yeah.
So, it's horrifying is a good way to describe it. So yeah, this arc has been following our group of cats. They maybe found like a safe place. Turns out very much not a safe place. Turns out crazy old cat ladies, not a good thing to have when there's like cats with super rabies running around. Yeah. So this issue finds them stuck in a basement trying to figure out like, how do we get out of here? And there's been a lot of tension boiling between the various characters because some of them feel betrayed. Some of them feel like others have been making really poor decisions. Spoiler alert, they very much have. So yeah, there's a lot of like tensions coming to the like boiling up and just like kind of exploding here. Some choices get made that like I might have some repercussions down the line. Like there's some things get eaten that maybe should not have been eaten.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. But like characters are really having to come to terms with their choices that have led them here. Because, like, things have not been going well, and the way this issue ends, things are probably only going to get worse.
Well, that is the way that stories tend to go.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the characters.
And it's so funny, because, like, honestly, on paper, if you told me, like, oh, like, cat 28 days later, but like it's got this like cute, like I mean, like you look at it, it's like got this like very like kind of like Disney like style.
Yeah, it's like Aristocats or the Rescuers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, like this might be a weird poll. I literally don't expect anyone watching this to get this, but if you've ever heard of the German animated film, I believe it's pronounced Felidae. If you've ever seen that, you'll definitely has those vibes. Like, well, we can talk about that later. I know it's a weird poll to make.
Now,
yeah, but it's super good. Tony Fleece's, they even advertised it here. If you're familiar with Stray Dogs, when that came out a couple years ago,
big hit.
Huge thing. Like, this is very much in that same vein of just like absolute, and like having it be experienced through cute animals like really does help drive home a lot of the horror. Because like you could have this just be like a normal like human kind of like virus outbreak book, and it would still be good, but like there's something about having it be cats that just like makes it hit on a different level.
Well, it probably, I mean, if you like cute cuddly animals, and I know that there are some people who are dog people, some people who are cat people, some people who are generically animal people, but I suppose that helps you kind of set aside your prejudices against people, if it's Karens or dinks or whatever, that drives you nuts about people, that gets kind of set aside for cute, cuddly, big-eyed fluff balls.
Yeah. But yeah, this series continues to be great. It continues to definitely be very gruesome. Like, if you're uncomfortable seeing bad things happen to both animals and people, do go in with some caution.
Yeah.
But no, this has been one of the series I look forward to every time it comes out.
Well, and I was telling you right before the video that this is one of those that's always, I've read the first one, and then I've intended to trade read it since then, and I have been remiss in doing so. But every time I do the polls for this one, I always think like, wow, this is a group of people that I respect their opinions on books, and they read good stuff. I really need to get on board on this one and check it out.
So if you're one of those people like me, we got good taste.
We approve, yes.
But yeah, no, continues to just be a fantastic read. And now for something that looks like it will also be a fantastic read.
Well, for those of you with more fast food taste,
I don't know if I'd say that exactly.
I went with One World Under Doom. I just meant kind of mine, like if you like this kinds of things that I like. Ryan North has been writing Fantastic Four, and we have sung the praises of that book many times.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of it has to do with it's a fun modern take on a Fantastic Four style of storytelling. So with a lot of one-off adventures that are science-y and very family-centric, and Ryan North has done a great job with that. Well, in the last Marvel-wide event, Blood Hunt, yes?
Yep.
Dr. Doom tricked Doctor Strange into giving up the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme in order to save the Earth from all these vampires. And since then, he's been up to no good. He created an impenetrable bubble over Latveria that when the Fantastic Four a number of months ago tried to breach it, they were sent back in time or to a different...
It was back in time,
yeah.
Which kind of caused divergent timeline things, but whatever.
Yeah, and so now Doom has all of a sudden, very quickly, taken power over the entire world. He has gotten the world's governments to agree that he is their singular ruler, and it is literally one world under Doom.
And the interesting thing is, as near as anyone can tell, he hasn't done any kind of whammies on anyone.
Right, yeah.
There's no magic, no mind control.
They're looking for it, right? Because that's what you would expect. And they're at the beginning of this, it's Dr. Doom addressing the entire world. And there you see some people not willing to accept it. And Doom intervenes very quickly. So then, we move on to seeing kind of a war room for the superheroes. And it's got a very, we were talking about this earlier too, it's got a very kind of 80s Marvel event kind of vibe to it, where it's you get kind of your recently highlighted heroes in the Marvel universe around a table, and they're talking about, what do we do about this Doom problem?
Another thing I do like there also is... it can kind of hit and miss, but I do enjoy when writers will bring little personal favorite characters of theirs and stuff, because there's some characters here from North did a Squirrel Girl run a couple years back, so he gets to bring in a couple of his favorites from that, which I think is always kind of a fun thing
Squirrel Girl, which if you're going to try to take over a worldwide dictator, probably get somebody who's unbeatable, right? And that's kind of the way that it goes. And there was this kind of weird back and forth where Doom, takes over the world's broadcasts and is able to broadcast to everybody at once. And then somebody else who, has their own aspirations of world dominance chimes in on that same broadcast wavelength and says, forget Doom. We're not going to let this guy. He doesn't have the credentials to be able to do this. Let me do it. And that does, shockingly, that goes about how you'd figure it out. But so the heroes have to have a response, right? And here's the problem. And this is typically what heroes do in a comic book. They react, and they react quickly, and they just assume, we're in the right here, so we just need to, heads down, plow through, fix this problem, and then we'll clean up the mess and everything will be better for everybody when we're done. Well, Doom has obviously been preparing for them. And even some of the really smart and strategic people in the room are not realizing that they should take a beat and think about what, and somebody even says, Doom has traps and traps. This going in impulsively is probably the worst thing that we can do.
And they do think they've kind of thought around it, but it becomes very clear that Doom being Doom has thought around the plans that they're thinking around his plans. He's been hiding away for 6 months. He's definitely had some time to think about hey, what would I do? What would they do? What would I do?
Well, and he's been up to something too, because there are things that they thought were one way, and now they're another way, including another version of Doom that kind of shows up that we thought that wasn't going to be able to happen again.
Which I'm very happy to see that, dude.
Oh my God, it was so cool. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. You have to suspend all disbelief. It's crazy town, but it looks so
it's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah. It's fun. This is a setup book, but it's going to have ripple effects through the entire Marvel universe. So Ryan North has won a lot of trust from me in his run on Fantastic Four. So I'm definitely giving this a try. And it's Doom. Sorry.
And he does. We talk about this a lot. He does a very good job of, even if like you didn't read Blood Hunt or you haven't been reading his Fantastic Four, which you definitely should be. You can just like hop in here if you're just like, oh, I just like want a cool, fun Marvel event book with like Doom and all these characters. Like, yeah, you can just hop in and they let you know everything you need to know.
Yep. Yeah, you really don't. There's not a whole lot of backstory other than he's Sorcerer Supreme.
But at the same time, though, definitely be reading Fantastic Four.
Yeah, honestly, and Doctor Strange and Moon Knight and all the other stuff that's tied into it has all been really good. So, all right, well, now for something completely different.
Yes.
This is another Image book by a writer that we kind of have been rough on in the past, but lately
has been really nailing it out.
We've been singing his praises.
Yeah, we've got Bug Wars #1 from Image Comics by Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar, and they've worked before because they've done some X-Men stuff before. I think they've done some other stuff in Marvel, but they've generally been like a good creative team together, and they really shine here.
Yeah, it's oh man, I mean, so this book. It's one of those stories where it flips between the everyday and the fantastic, right? And so there's nothing really earth-shattering here. There's a family that's been broken apart by a death, and they're trying to, put the pieces back together, and they're moving into an old family home. I mean, it's very Lock and Key-like.
Yeah, there's definitely an element to that.
Yeah. Bridge to Terabithia or whatever you want. It's very similar to those kinds of stories.
There's a way he kind of describes it, like at the end of, because he's got like a little letter at the end being like, hey, here's kind of like the inspiration. I think he's just like, it's like, what if Narnia was written by Garth Ennis? Like, which is like, yeah.
I want that now. Wow, so many people would die.
Oh my God, a lot of people die in this already.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yes. So that's very much what he's taken from it. There's a lot of violence, pressure style violence.
Yeah, there's like it's a very we've got like this yard. There seems to be all these like they're called like mites, I believe is like the term that they use for them. Where
there's basically bug kingdoms.
Yeah, they're like. There's these like weird like human insect hybrid people that like live amongst the bugs, and they've got all their little separate civilizations that like have. And I really love there's like Aaron's got notes at the end of the issue that kind of like detail some of like the specifics about like some of the groups and their like interrelations and that, which is super cool. But then we've also got like this very like human side of it where like you've got this family dealing with this trauma, like you were saying, and it's all rendered gorgeously by Asrar. Like. His art is just fantastic here. Like, for both the fantastical and the mundane, just, like, things look great.
It's... Yeah, like I said, it's not anything earth-shattering. It's kind of that, oh, hey, there's this whole fantasy world in my backyard, and I'm going to get sucked into it kind of thing.
We were kind of talking before. It almost feels like... if you told me this was based off like an 80s cartoon, I would absolutely believe
for sure. But, or an early 2000s book adaptation movie,
But like, and I mean that in the nicest way, because like it does feel like that, but like then also like made more for definitely an adult audience. There's like one line early on that we were like,
yeah.
That's just like,
so it's vulgar, it's graphic, it's extremely violent.
You want to see someone get their head chopped in half?
Yeah,
you got it.
It happened multiple times.
Yep.
Also what was it? It wasn't the Death Storm or whatever they were saying.
Oh,
That was so cool. I wasn't sure what it was going to be.
Well, yeah, because like you're like,
it was like, oh duh, I should have had that figured out.
No, it like, and again, like we've been open before, like Aaron's been kind of hit and miss in the past, but like generally speaking recently, like really, like this, obviously episode Superman, whenever it would come out, like new issues of Batman Off-World were always fun. Like, yeah, he's been doing really good recently.
You know, I generally really liked his Thor run. His Strange run just felt kind of like a rerun. I don't know, but it's been hit and miss. But some of his, his early stuff had me as a very, early fan of his work. I really enjoyed like Southern Bastards and stuff like that, especially A Slice of Life, which is this is kind of more of that, but then switch and do some fantasy stuff.
And you get like some of his like Conan, which I think actually Azrael did a lot of the art on that run with him too.
Yeah,
so
which
it's a very good fit.
He did a very good run on Conan. That was a good fit for him. So and yes, this would have made a super cool 80s toy line.
Oh yeah,
like it would have been awesome. Little action figures with Bug Warriors.
Like you can't tell me you wouldn't want a toy of this guy growing up.
Right. Super cool. Yeah. We've got lots of copies of it. There was kind of a publisher special on it, so we were able to get a whole bunch of copies. So come in and check it out. That was a good one. Now this was the first week in a while where we really had to spend some time narrowing down the list. So what was really close to making it up here for?
So no surprise, Absolute Batman issue 5, like easily could have been up here. Yeah. Like no question. Like another fantastic issue. Things are maybe not going like it's so fun because it's got these like huge highs and then like these huge lows, and now it's just like, okay, but what's going to happen now? Because like a lot of things happen and a lot of them not good.
Right.
But yeah, no. So that continues to be great. But also on that note, we have you can see in the background here a bunch of reprints of issues of all the Absolute titles that we've been selling out of. Yeah. So if you missed one, definitely come on by. You can finally grab a copy.
Yeah, I think we've got 1 and 2 of Wonder Woman and Superman. 1 and 3 of Wonder Woman. And then 1, 2, and 3 of Absolute Batman. So you can get caught up, find out what all the hype is about. What else? Interesting too.
Other like regulars that you see up here continue to be great, like Transformers and Moon Knight. We were talking before about like the new Green Lantern course.
The new Green Lantern book was really good. There's kind of an interesting twist there, but basically the batteries are gone and the emotional spectrum is they're trying to rebuild and Oa is reset and it's just this whole big mess, and the Green Lanterns are trying to keep everything together without letting anybody create new fractures off of the emotional spectrum that could destroy everything. But you got to start with the problems at hand. Yeah, so it was very good. The art in it is excellent too. There's a lot of good stuff. So we've got a reprint or a facsimile rather, of Fantastic Four number 2. So for Skrulls, they turned in. Well, I won't tell you, but it shows up again. What, in the early 2000s? That whole. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
What happens at the end of that? They bring back in. What was it? Secret Invasion. Yeah, at the end of Secret Invasion.
Well, I think they do
hunting them down.
Yeah.
So post Secret Invasion. But anyway, and then Amazing Spider-Man 129, so first Punisher. And there are a couple really cool foil covers, so I know that some of our folks love the foil covers. So.
And some just cool variants in general.
There's so many good variants.
That Clayman variant for Absolute Batman is
is that cool. The 1 in 50? Yeah, it's very cool. Very much... the kind of iconic look of Absolute Batman on full display there. Yeah. Also, speaking of iconic looks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like we should extend the sequence so it just feels like you're going all the way to the other side of the store.
Yeah. So we have our new improved sweatshirts now available for purchase here at the store. Fritz is modeling one, and we're having the graphics work locally sourced here. It's a company out of New Ulm who's helping us with that, and they spent a lot of time researching which sweatshirts and t-shirts work best and hold up really well. And even though these are a nicer quality sweatshirt than what we had before, which the ones we had before were solid, but we were able to get these at a price where we can still offer them at the price we were before for the previous sweatshirts of $40. So you start getting into some of the larger extended sizes. We might, like if we have to special order something, there might have to be a little extra. But right now, I think we've got small through 2X.
Yeah.
But supplies are moving, or rather, inventory's moving fast. So if you're looking for one, come in and get one. And they're very nice. And it's definitely sweatshirt weather for the next couple weeks here.
Definitely. Very happy to have this recently. But yeah, no, it's very comfy. It's very, just like, it feels nice. Like the fabric is just like super good. The texture on the logo is super cool.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hold up better than the last ones that we had. And I like the length of them. Sometimes, especially in sweatshirts, they end up being kind of short. And then it's like, you reach for that thing on the top shelf and you're showing everybody your belly button. Not my favorite. So, all right. Well, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, and stop into your local comic book shop. Check out the books for yourselves. We will be back next week because next week there will be more new comic books. And I know that we teased last week that there's something in the works, and it definitely took a big jump forward this last week since the last video, but not enough so that we're able to make any kind of formal announcement. But we're hoping that that'll be coming soon as well. So we will be back next week. We hope that you join us. Until then, enjoy the reading. I get it.
The grave is coming.
I get it. It comes for us all.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Pretty good way to describe a couple of the books up here, to be honest.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah, lots of death.
Yeah.
Lots of